So what if you could just tell an AI what you want to accomplish, not how to do it, and it just, figured it out? Imagine no more copying and pasting, no more prompting it every 5 minutes. You just hand it a goal and it gets to work. Well, look, this isn't some sci-fi dream anymore. It's called Agentic AI, and in the next few minutes, we're going to show you exactly how it works and, more importantly, how you can get started with it like today.
First things first, we really need to get our heads around this fundamental shift. For the last couple of years, we've all gotten pretty used to chatbots, right? It's a simple back and forth. You ask a question, you get an answer. But an AI agent? It's a totally different ballgame. It's not about answering your questions. It's about accomplishing your goals. It actually does things.
So let's really dig into what this shift means. We're moving from that simple conversational model to one that's all about action. The AI is becoming an active participant in your workflow, not just some passive encyclopedia you talk to. Okay, the key word on this slide, the one you really need to remember, is autonomously. An agent AI doesn't just have information stored in its brain. It can look at your goal, create a whole plan of attack, figure out the steps to get there, and then use digital tools to get the job done, all on its own, without you micromanaging every little thing.
And honestly, this is probably the best way to think about it. It just nails the core idea. A chatbot is a resource you go to for information. An AI agent is a resource you can actually delegate to. It's the difference between asking someone for the recipe and just asking them to bake the cake for you. So how does this thing actually, think? It might sound incredibly complicated, like some kind of black box magic, but the core logic behind it can actually be broken down into a simple, repeating 4-step loop. Let's take a look.
This whole process is often called a react loop, which stands for reason and act. So first, it perceives the goal you gave it. Second, it plans out the steps it thinks it needs to take. Third, and this is the absolute game changer, it acts by using tools. And fourth, it observes what happened. Did that action work? Did it get it closer to the goal? And then it just repeats that loop over and over until the job is done.
And that act step, that's where the rubber meets the road. The tools are basically its hands in the digital world. It can pop up on a web browser to do research for you, fire up a code interpreter to analyze some data, check your calendar to schedule a meeting, or even connect to your email to draft a message. It's really doing the work.
Okay, enough theory. I know this is the part you came for. Let's do a super practical walkthrough of setting up your very first, very simple agentic workflow. No coding, no complicated setup, just a few simple instructions that literally anyone can follow right now. So for this, we're going to use a feature in Claude.ai called Projects, which is a perfect way to dip your toes in. It's just 3 steps. First, you start a new project. Second, you give it a little bit of context. You tell it what role it's supposed to play. And third, you give it a task that requires more than one step to finish.
Let's make this real with an example. You can literally type, "You are my research assistant." Bam, you've defined its role. Then you give it the multi-step goal all in one sentence. Find 3 key points on a topic, and then draft a social media post about them. The AI is going to do those things in order. And here's the crucial part. You're not asking 2 separate questions. You are assigning one single project. That's the magic.
Now, while Claude is a fantastic place to start, for sure, it's definitely not your only option. Let's do a quick rundown of a few of the most accessible tools out there so you can pick the one that makes the most sense for you and your workflow.
Each of these has its own superpower, really. Claude, like we just saw, is brilliant for handling those really complex, multi-step instructions. ChatGPT, especially with the latest GPT-4o model, is an absolute powerhouse for tasks that need it to browse the web in real time. And of course, if you live and breathe inside the Microsoft ecosystem, Copilot is designed to wire directly into your emails, your documents, your spreadsheets, the whole shebang.
Learning this simple skill isn't just a neat trick. It's about getting ahead of a massive shift in how work is going to get done. This is all about moving from being the doer of all the tedious tasks to becoming the director of the agents that do them for you. Check this out. A recent McKinsey report estimated that generative AI could automate up to 70%, 70, of the tasks workers currently spend their time on. Now that number sounds kind of huge and abstract until you realize that Agentic AI is the how. It's the engine that makes that automation actually happen. It's what connects the AI's brain to the actual work.
But it's so important to frame this the right way. This isn't just about replacing people. It's about augmenting what we can do. It's about giving one person the capabilities of a small team, freeing you up from all the grunt work so you can focus on strategy, on creativity, the stuff that humans are uniquely good at. Now, before we get too carried away and hand over the keys to the kingdom, we have to be really clear-eyed about the risks. First, AI can still hallucinate, basically make stuff up. And when an agent does that in step 1 of a 10-step process, that error can just snowball. Second, giving an agent the power to send emails or delete files means it can take actions you can't undo. And third, there's a sneaky risk called prompt injection. Just think of it like someone tricking your agent into following bad instructions from a sketchy website or email.
And this is exactly why the companies building these tools, like Anthropic, give this really solid advice. Start slow. Start cautiously. For example, have your agent draft an email for you to approve instead of just sending it. Let it organize files for you, but maybe don't give it permission to delete them just yet. It's all about erring on the side of caution and building that trust over time.
Look, this shift from simply instructing a computer to truly delegating to an agent, it's a genuine turning point in how we work. The people who start experimenting today, the ones who learn how to delegate to, manage, and direct these new tools, they're the ones who are going to have a massive edge. So, I'll leave you with this. When you look at your own to-do list, what's the first repetitive, annoying task you're going to hand over to an agent?